We lived in a predominantly white neighborhood, and I was probably one of 350 kids at this elementary school, and I was black, and there was this little white boy that used to chase me home and call me a nigger. And I remember going home and I remember saying, "Mom, what does this word mean?" Because I had never heard the word with such vengeance.
Nigger, go home now.
Chill with that nigga shit, man. I mean, I know you comfortable with me and shit, but you can't just be calling me nigga in front of other black people. They gonna be like, why you letting the honky call you nigga, my brother?
As for example, Mr. Haley. He thought first of Tom's length and breadth and height, and what he would sell for if he was kept fat and in good case till he got him into market. He thought of how he should make out his gang. He thought of the respective market value of certain men and women and children who were to compose it, and other kindred topics of the business. And then he thought of himself, and how humane he was. That whereas other men chained their niggas hand and foot both, he only put fetters on the feet and left Tom the use of his hands, as long as he behaved well. And he sighed to think how ungrateful human nature was, so that there was even room to doubt whether Tom appreciated his mercies. He had been taken in so by niggas whom he had favored. But still, he was astonished to consider how good-natured he yet remained. Uncle Tom's Cabin, Harriet Beecher Stowe.
Came here in a situation of duress. It was very different from any other group of people. The formation of our group has been around that word.
They certainly work like niggers as they cleared away the ant heap for me to take off.
I say this to people who say, you know, we all had to come over to this country and be as some of them were. And you weren't brought over in the hold of a ship, and half of them died on the way. And you weren't whipped and so forth, and your wife wasn't raped, and then you were fucking hung. You know, I say, man, it's a different deal. Slavery is what makes that word more electric.
Five local niggers.
I mean, I've seen a bunch of explanations, but none of them, I never bought any of them.
The term nigger has been traced back to the 17th century, and etymologists believe that it's derived from the Latin word for black, N-I-G-E-R.
The first 20 slaves who were brought to Jamestown were called niggers, which is Dutch.
Now the Dutch were using the word neger. And now if you notice, that's how it was said, and this was not a literate culture, the slave trade culture.
Over the years, that term was written in other places. The spelling of the word also changed. You would later see it N-E-G-E-R. You would see it N-I-G-G-O-R.
If the Spanish and the French initially meant negre to mean black and didn't have a derogatory term, we don't really know that.
But clearly by the first third of the 19th century, you begin to see the word written in print as N-I-G-G-E-R. And so that was the version or the spelling of nigger that persisted right on through the 19th and right on through the 20th century.
Oxford English Dictionary definitions. Nigger jockey. A gentleman that trades in niggers. He buys them in one state and sells them in another where they are not known. Niggery, of or belonging to a characteristic of Negroes. Niggerize, to treat with contempt, or act or dress up as a Negro. Nigger corner, the part of a public building in which Negroes were confined, or a corner where niggas hang out. Nigger stick, an officer's baton. Nigger heaven, the top gallery of a movie theater. Nigger rich, payday.
Many words have many meanings, and nigger is no exception. Definition 1 is a word that a white or another non-African American person uses to indicate that a black person is of inferior caste.
If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you...
Don't say it.
Nigger.
He said it.
But what comes right after the word is the activity. And the activity of being treated like a nigger is always in the air.
Even when we've had our worst fights, you've never called me nigger.
That doesn't mean it never crossed my mind.
When somebody say, hey, that's my nig right there. What's that mean? Slave masters said it forever. Hey, what you doing with that? That's my, you know, it's a bad mentality. It's a bad thing that goes back. And a lot of times we forget exactly what it is.
In my day-to-day speech, do I use nigger or nigga? No, I have friends who do. I have friends who embrace me. Good to see you, my nigga. Am I upset with them? No. Do I say to them, good to see you, my nigga? No, I don't.
I think it only bothers me in the historical sense. It only bothers me that it shows me they don't really have an appreciation for what those who went before them suffered and the things they fought for. And how, for the people who went before, for many of them, it was a small battle to get people to stop using that.
The nigger is an African American who doesn't know how to behave.
Anytime a brother would shoot another brother in his own neighborhood, then go to his funeral and turn over his own casket, they need to have the police down there. Cause see, the niggas is NAACP and niggas ain't acting like colored people. And we can't stand that.
I've heard blacks use the word nigger. I've heard them use it to distinguish among different kinds of blacks, you know.
I love black people, but I hate niggas, boy. Oh, I hate niggas. Boy, I wish they let me join the Ku Klux Klan.
And say nigger, if I say, you know, so-and-so, what was that nigga thinking?
The nigga will say some shit like, I ain't never been to jail. What, you want a cookie? You're not supposed to go to jail, you low expectation ever, motherfucker.
I know that it only takes a few people to mess it up for a bunch of people.
White kids today want to be cool, and black has always been cool. Being black has always been cool, you know. And if that's a word that the coolest kids are using, then the white kids are gonna adopt that word. Okay.
I'm so casual with it. You know, but I'd be damned if I let anybody else call me it that's not black. I mean, isn't that something? That's so hypocritical.
That's how words work. Nigger, just because it tends to bother us in some ways, is not an exception. It has many meanings, and it's going to be very difficult to legislate, or even socially legislate, against the development of those different meanings. It's not just a piece of verbiage on paper, it's a live thing.
The white folks ain't got no reason to mistreat the colored people. They need us all the time. They don't want no food unless a nigga cooks it. They want niggas to do all they washing and ironing. They want niggas to do they sweeping and cleaning and everything around their houses. Niggas handle everything they wears and hands them everything they eats and drinks. Ain't nobody can get closer to a white person than a colored person. If we wanted to kill them, they'd have all been dead. There ain't no reason for white people mistreating colored people. Ellen Brass, former slave, Little Rock, Arkansas.